Is Rick cheap? I think he is. Hi everyone, Paula here from Goes to 11 Media, bringing you another episode of Grounds for Divorce Coffee Bean Reviews. And as usual, I am joined by my husband, Rick.
Am I cheap? Am I cheap?
Well, happy Valentine's Day. Well, actually,
Okay.
Filming day.
Full stop on that. Okay. The whole Valentine's Day thing, you and I have been together for how many years now? Get it right. How many years? She doesn't know. She has to
14?
It'll be 14 in the fall. Exactly.
Okay.
And one of the things that I said to you from the start was that I do not subscribe to Hallmark events. I do not participate in Valentine's Day. I tell you every day that I love you, and I don't need one day of the year to spend triple the amount of money on stuff than I would the day after. So, yeah, I guess from that perspective, I'm cheap. Which is a good lead into some other stuff for us about this coffee we're going to try, etc., etc.
Yes, but first, I see you bought yet another t-shirt.
See, I'm not cheap. This is my Motorhead shirt. Really excited about this one. It, Lemmy, God rest his soul, he was an interesting character, and it was an interesting band. Louder than all get out. I tell you, boy, they were a loud band to go see. Your ears were ringing after that one for a day or two. So yeah, excited about that. A little rock and roll. I want to talk about coffee here for a second here. Now, one of the things that you see all along when you're going out shopping for coffee beans is the price differences between coffees. And you'll get some of the mainstream stuff where they'll be, $10, $12. Then you get into the craft roasters and you can go as high as $20 on a bag.
Or more.
Mm-hmm. And so I was thinking the other day, I was in one of the major grocery chains, and I'm like, I think I'm going to get some coffee for us to review, but I want to do a little twist. I want to get... This is President's Choice. Now, for you who are not familiar with President's Choice, it's kind of like the in-store brand. It's like a generic brand, I guess, from a certain perspective, for the Real Canadian Superstore, which is a very large chain, Loblaws across Canada. And I saw this is a breakfast blend medium roast, and it was $6.99. And so I'm like, okay, this experiment is either going to go really well, or it's going to go really poorly. But it was like $7. I'm like, you can't really lose at $7. Like if it's tripe, you just don't buy it again. But if it was not bad, you go, hey, you know what? For $7, that's not a bad something if you want something different.
Yeah, I wasn't too thrilled about filming this one today. But oh well, I was like, just go for it, whatever.
As you've probably grown to know with Paula, she has very particular tastes and expectations when it comes to her coffees, and it's all about the smell and the freshness and all the rest. And for many people that is the case, but also for a lot of people it's not. A lot of people it's just, I want caffeine, I want it cheap, right? I mean,
hot, sweet, creamy.
Exactly. And if you just, all you have to do is look at McDonald's and the success they had with their coffee. It was inexpensive coffee, and people they buy it like crazy. So this one was $7, and the interesting thing to me was that talking about freshness dates and roast dates and stuff, this doesn't have a roast date on the package anywhere that I can see.
Many do not.
Yeah, unfortunately. And I think that's a bit of a way of kind of hiding the fact of how long it's been sitting on a shelf. Do you know what I mean? If you don't have a roast date on there, let's be honest. Would you go buy a jug of milk if it didn't have a best before date on it? Probably not. What are you going to open up?
But it doesn't have a just milked, like the milked date on
No, but there's standards though in that industry as far as when it.
I see.
Because it's all through their dairy councils. Well, there's going to be standards that they have to adhere to.
Right.
There's not really any sort of standards that I'm aware of in the coffee industry as far as from the date you roast it that it has to be, put onto a shelf, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I mean, you could roast these and it could sit in a warehouse for 6 months for all you know. And then once it gets distributed from the warehouse into the retail, and just because it goes to retail doesn't mean that it goes right to the store shelves. That could go into the retailer's warehouse, right? So, or into their overstock or whatever. So anyways, this was August 22nd of 2021. So this is the best before date. So do the math on that. You're looking at it like 6 months is what they're rating this as. It has the breather valve on it, but again, you want to sort of say, as Paul has talked about before, you want that sort of for pour overs, what is it, about 4 or 5 days, and for an espresso, it's about 10 to 14.
2 weeks.
Yeah, in around there. So
2 weeks.
So who knows when this was roasted? We don't know. The trick is that Paula has made 2 pour overs, one with this, one with a different brand entirely. And we're not cross-referencing what brand or whatever. It's just a blind taste test. And for me to try and figure out which one is this one, or which one I like better.
Yeah, because you might know. I had to separate them, right?
Yeah. Okay, so.
Okay.
Grab your
Shall
spoon.
we?
How about you jump into one and I'll jump into the other? How's that?
Okay.
If I can get half of it into my mouth here. Okay. There's a bittering on this one that I'm getting.
This one is a fuller body and a darker roast.
Yeah, that's definitely
Very
a
nice.
darker roast. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this one here definitely is a definite darker roast to me. You obviously know which one's which. Mm-hmm. Now,
Well, do you know what a
just-
breakfast blend is? You didn't say anything about the breakfast blend.
it's a breakfast blend. I have it with breakfast. Now,
When is breakfast? 1,
depends on the
2 in
day.
the afternoon.
You know what? I mean, I can't say that this.
I find it a bit
It's-
on the acidic
It's
side.
it's got a bit more bittering to it to me. I'm not crazy about the flavor. I'm not crazy about it.
It's light.
To me, it has a sharper note afterward, like an aftertaste.
Yeah, it's a medium roast. It's much lighter than this one. And it does have almost like a sour candy note to it.
Yeah, it's
like it's not-
like a bitter. This is definitely a smoother flavor to me.
There's not a ton of flavor with this. It's still coffee, and you're gonna get your caffeine kick, but
Yeah, I'm gonna say that this is this one here.
yes.
Yeah,
I kind of gave it away when I said, "Oh, this one's darker." Did you notice
well,
that?
no, but you could tell that. I mean, honestly, you wouldn't have to be a major expert in coffee to determine that that's a dark roast. You can just
Got
tell.
that roasty.
There's that roasty flavor to it. So, listen, at the end of the day, if I needed a bag of coffee for $7,
Yeah, if you're a student and you need to stay up late, it's kind of a, I don't want to say fruity, but it's kind of got more of an acidic
more
feel
acidic.
to it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it would probably be something that'd be, just my opinion, I think it'd be something that'd sit maybe a little harsher in your stomach as well. You know, like I don't feel like this one feels like you could have it and it's not going to really cause you to have that sort of maybe an upset stomach from the intensity of it. This one's a little more acidy and bitter.
Yeah, so
But hey, listen, again, if you're on a budget, you know, as you said, like a student or whatever, then this could be a decent alternative. But would it be my run out and go grab it? No, I wouldn't. But so, you know, it's kind of cool though, because we know that this one is probably going to be $15 to $20 a bag, price point, ballpark.
yeah, it was $19, I believe.
Yeah. So from a straight up cost difference, 3 of those to 1 of those bags. So is it worth that? So I'll pose this question to you. If you're on a budget and you want to just to have coffee, would you spend the money on that and have 3 bags, or would you buy?
I would definitely pick that over the ground, the pre-ground coffees that come in tins.
That's just terrible. That's terrible.
I don't know. Like, no. And you also have to think of, locally, or smaller small batch roasters. It's a real craft. So
Absolutely.
if you're into more enjoying the different nuances and the flavors and stuff, by all means, go to your local cafe or look up roasters. Taste test different coffees through them and enjoy coffee. If that's so not your thing, like you don't want to waste your time with that, then yeah.
Yeah, it's just, it depends on, as I say, on your budgets and what your preferences are. But I agree with what you're saying. I mean, if you're looking for that, why don't you explain to the people what a breakfast blend is? Because some people will just go, what is a breakfast blend? What is it?
It's usually a medium roast, and people like to have it in the AM because it's not as rich, it's not as roasted, so you don't have that real, like, almost a smoky flavor to it. So for some people, they prefer a breakfast blend because it's a milder coffee.
Didn't I say I have it with my breakfast? Isn't that what I said?
Okay, what was the point of asking me the question?
You're the professor here.
No.
So I was like, tell him, because I want to know what the definition was. And you did a good job on it.
Did I? Is that the correct definition of a breakfast blend?
It's a blend that I have with my breakfast.
Yeah, I like that better. We still have to try the latte, though.
We do.
Although I have a feeling it's not going to taste very coffee-like.
Okay, let's see.
Although some of the espressos are like a medium dark roast. Good going.
There you go.
Whoa.
Wow, that really drops the flavor down.
Oh, it's very flat.
Flat, like super flat.
If you don't like the taste of coffee, but you want the caffeine.
This, yeah, like, it's just... Like, as far as flavor, it's off the cliff.
It just tastes like milk.
It does. It literally tastes like you were drinking steamed milk with a hint of coffee flavor. Mm-hmm. That is not a go-to latte for me.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that I've said many times in our segments is that I wonder if a coffee is going to have the ability to come through in a latte. Because we've had some before that they do diminish. It mutes a lot of the flavor notes. But this goes really flat.
Yeah.
Like, it's like steamed milk with a hint of coffee flavor.
And obviously, traditionally, you want to use an espresso roast for your lattes.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
No,
We've had some good success with
lots of
medium
brands.
dark roasts as an espresso latte.
Yeah. It's if it holds the flavor, that's the big thing for me. If it holds the flavor of the coffee, because I don't really want to just have that sort of steamed milk flavor, right? So this one here would definitely not be something for, in my opinion, suitable for lattes. Wouldn't be.
No.
Unless you want a really, really, really tame latte.
Indeed.
So, all right. So, hey, listen, we just answered a question.
What?
Is Rick cheap?
It was today. Oh, honey.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
I just need you for my Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's Day, Paula. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. We'll talk to you later.
Ciao, ciao.